Okay, well, welcome to our social media marketing webinar series, done in 10 minutes or less. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get right into it. This is going to cover building your footprint and how to attract business using social media. So, who is this guy presenting? Here's some basic information. I'm a risk taker. I've been in digital media for 20 years, 12 years in the internet marketing side. I've worked for Fortune 500 startups. I like seminars and webinars. I volunteer, lots of stuff. So when I first started in social media, this is about how much I wanted to share with people online. And as I got more comfortable, I realized that, it really wasn't so bad. So I kind of figured out at what threshold am I willing to share. So that brings us to the question, what is social media? And quite simply, social media is this. It is the privilege of setting up a profile on the top websites in the world, which gives you the ability to publish content to the top websites in the world. And social media is essentially engaging. It's like analog versus digital. Websites that corporations have, analog. Digital, social media. It's a two-way communication point. And essentially, I'm going to show you a graph. 75% of all traffic on the internet is in a social media, social networking site. So, which leads us to the question, why social media? What are the objectives? So we have the 5 W's of social media, starting with either reputation management or establishing yourself as the expert. Very visible, high profile. I need to do business with this person because they're the expert. Branding, great way to brand your product, your trade services, the services you do. It's also great for marketing, the where. Since you know that marketing online can be the most cost-effective way to market, that's where you need to be. The other interesting thing is if you've ever used Google Alerts, Google Alerts and other tools are great for listening. You can monitor your competition. You can monitor keywords that may be around your brand. It's a great way to find and connect with a potential audience. It's also great to find websites that you may want to mine opportunities from. And lastly, why are we doing this? Because we want to sort of value to it. So here's an interesting graph. This is one that we created. Our stats are back. And quite simply, it's this. You start with Google. 3 out of 4 people who start at Google end up in what we call a content-rich environment. 75% of traffic ends up here, and we think of those as social media, social networking sites. 25% of the time, sites that people end up in like a website of a business. And the reason why that's so low is because websites that businesses have are very, we're great, buy from us, and people just aren't ready to just fork over their email or give you money until they trust you, know you, and can know more about you. And then the misnomer about social media is it's about the blah, blah, blah. I'm hanging out at Starbucks, or, hey, I had some mushy wheat things, or mini wheats, I believe it is. There's a time and a place for that. I don't really see the business connection to it. So we would call that blah, blah, blah. Here's one, Gallo Blanco, Clarendon Hotel, downtown Phoenix, best carne asada tour. Some people might call that the blah, 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 but the guy who owns Gallo Blanco would disagree. And then, here's an opportunity, you do a blog post, you can distribute it to your Facebook page and all of these other places. Now, this is more of the meat and potatoes. We have content, we're talking about marketing, and we can distribute it to the top sites. So, there's this thing called Google, and most people want to be at the top of the results. And what if you wanted to own the top 10 results? I get that question a lot. Essentially, it's real simple. You need to have a lot of content and all types of content. Here's an example: articles, videos, we got blogs, social networks. As you can see, websites, press releases, photos, PowerPoints, audio. Essentially, it's really simple. If you want to dominate the top results or the top 10 results in Google, you need to have all types of content. And a lot of companies are operating a 4-cylinder engine and they're running on one cylinder because they're only using articles, or they may be only using a blog. And the reality is Google has essentially set their results parameters up that to be in the top 10, all of this type of content is going to show up. They've made a space for it. So it gets back to, all right, Matt, I got some content. What am I going to do with it? Well, we like to call the visibility multiplier effect. Most businesses have poured their heart and soul into creating content that they think is great, and that's great. So instead of having that on your website, which I'm sure it is, let's think of bringing that to where 75% of traffic is on all these sites. So we look at a document, a video, PowerPoint, whatever it is, and we're going to find the top sites. And there are specific sites for specific types of content, like SlideShare for PowerPoint, fantastic. Scribe works well too. YouTube. You got a video, you put it on YouTube. Wow, I did my job. Well, there's 50 or so other sites that video could belong on. So if you think of it, and you publish content on a regular basis to all these channels, you're going to do a couple things. You're going to hugely increase the exposure of your brand, and you're also going to drive a lot of traffic to your website. Isn't that what it's all about? So to increase the visibility, most people have a website, and there's typically two levers you can pull. You got the SEO side, which is search engine optimization. I want to get ranked in Google. We kind of covered that. Then the other side is I'm just going to pay for the results. I want to own those sponsored links in Google. Great. But what if you want to build a content engine? Because what about that 75% of traffic that's not on my website? How do I attract them? Well, we want to do photos and video and audio and press releases and articles and PowerPoint and documents. This is the visibility multiplier effect. It's real simple. You want to get people to your website. Well, it may not be the best place, first point of entry. Why don't we bring the content to where the people are, 75% of traffic? And let's change it up into all forms of content, because someone may be big at reading articles, or they just want to watch video. I'm in the video category myself. I don't go online to read. So here's the engine that we recommend that companies should have. It essentially starts with two types of content. We got the monthly content, and we got the partner content. Partner content could be your customers, could be your vendors, could be third-party, non-competitive people that you want to publish on your hub. Then we look at the content. You've done a content grab, and now we're going to publish this on article sites, on document sites, microblogging, videos, audio, PowerPoint, aggregation tools. That's an interesting thing. You don't even need to be the thought leader. There are smart people out there. Set up your Google alerts. Identify the terms that are most important in your space. Find thought leaders. Grab their content, obviously link back to them and give them credit. But what you can do is post that on your blog, and now you can bring in their audience and link them and lure them back to your site. And why do we do this? We're really trying to increase the visibility effect and create inbound links to the pages that are most important. So here it is. It's relatively simple. And in 10 minutes a day, if you use these type of aggregation tools, you can essentially cover it. Hootsuite. You can do Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all with one stroke of a mouse. Posterous is great for blogs. Ping, there's about 50 different places you can publish content to, and FriendFeed is like the reverse. It feeds everything into one channel, and then you can distribute from there. And then Tubogle.com is great for video. So I think we might have covered everything in 10 minutes, maybe 1 minute over. But here's my contact info. And if anyone has any questions, you essentially can ask them in the question window, and we can go from there. Otherwise, we're going to cut it off here, and I'm going to stop recording.